Maybe you're one of those people who has 100 interests and 1,000 plans. One week, you decide to start an online business. A few days later, you're thinking about becoming a content creator. Then someone talks about trading, and suddenly you want to learn that too. Maybe you start thinking, should I change my career? Or maybe you decide, this is finally the year I will learn a new language. Then you see someone getting into amazing shape, and now you're planning your entire fitness journey. Every new idea feels exciting. Every new opportunity feels important, and every time something catches your attention, you quietly tell yourself, maybe this is what I meant to do. If that sounds like you, this video is for you. For a long period of time, I thought something was wrong with me. I couldn't understand why I was interested in so many different things. And then I realized my problem wasn't having too many interests. My problem was trying to give all of them my attention at the same time. And once I understood that, everything started to make sense. Because every new interest gives you a picture of a different future. When you think about starting an online business, you imagine freedom. When you think about becoming a content creator, you imagine people enjoying your work. When you think about learning a new skill, you imagine becoming a completely different person. Those pictures are powerful. They make you feel like you've finally found your path. But then something else catches your attention, a different future, a different possibility, a different version of yourself. And before you've given the first one enough time to grow, your attention quietly moves somewhere else. And you know what's even more interesting? Sometimes your social media notices that before you do. One month, your Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube is full of trading videos. Then suddenly, it's content creating. A few weeks later, it's online business, then fitness, then productivity, then something completely different. It's almost like your feed changes every time your mind changes. And before you know it, your algorithm is feeding your newest curiosity instead of your deepest commitment. Every scroll gives you another reason to believe. Maybe this is the thing I should be doing. Little by little, you stop building one future. You start chasing hundreds of possible futures without giving any of them the chance to become reality. At first, none of these feels like a problem because learning a new thing feels productive. Watching videos feels productive. Making plans feels productive. Researching feels productive. Even imagining your future feels productive. But here is the truth. Feeling productive and actually making progress are not always the same thing. Sometimes we become so busy preparing for different futures that we never fully build even one of them. And I think that's the hidden cost of having too many interests. Not because curiosity is bad. Curiosity is actually a beautiful thing. It helps you grow, it helps you discover opportunities, it helps you become a more interesting person. The problem begins when curiosity turns into constant distraction. Imagine planting 10 different trees. Every week you move to another one. You water it for a few days, then you stop. A year later, you don't have 10 strong trees, you have 10 weak ones. Not because the trees were bad, not because they couldn't grow, but because none of them stayed in one place long enough to grow roots. I think our interests work the same way. Every time we leave too early, we start over again and again and again. Then one day, I realized something that honestly changed the way I think. My dreams were not competing with other people, they were competing with each other. Every new dream wanted the same time, the same attention, the same energy, the same 24 hours, and none of them could have all of me. That was the real problem. Not my interests, not my motivation, my inability to decide which one deserved the season of my life. That season of my life. I remember asking myself a question that honestly frustrated me. Why do I keep starting things but rarely stay with them long enough? It wasn't because I didn't enjoy learning. Actually, learning has always been one of my favorite things. Every new interest gave me hope. For a moment, I could already picture myself becoming really good at it. But before that picture had a chance to become reality, my attention had already moved somewhere else. Looking back now, I don't regret being curious. I only regret how quickly I walked away from things that deserve a little more patience. So, what do you actually do if you're someone with a lot of interests? Here's what changed everything for me. I stopped asking myself, what am I excited about today? Instead, I started asking, what deserves my attention right now? These are two completely different questions. The first one follows emotion, the second one builds a future. And once I started asking the second question, making decisions became much easier because I finally understood something. I don't have to reject my other interests. I simply have to stop inviting all of them into my life at the same time. Today, whenever I become interested in something new, I ask myself three simple questions. The first question is, do I truly want this, or am I just excited because everyone else is talking about it? Sometimes we confuse inspiration with intention. Just because something looks exciting doesn't mean it means for you. The second question is, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Because every decision has a cost: time, energy, attention. You may not notice it immediately, but every new commitment takes something away from the one you're already building. And the third question might be the most important one. Will this still matter to me 6 months from now? Not tomorrow, not next week, 6 months from now. Because excitement doesn't usually disappear after one day, but many temporary interests don't survive 6 months. If the answer is still yes, then maybe it's worth your commitment. And here is something I wish someone had told me years ago. You don't have to reduce your dreams. You simply have to organize them. Everything you want may still be possible, just not all at the same time. That doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're giving one dream a real chance. Because when you finally become successful in one important area of your life, you'll have more confidence, more experience, more resources, and more freedom to explore everything else. Maybe today your priority is building your career. A few years later, it could be starting a business. After that, learning another language or mastering a new skill. Your interests don't need to disappear, they simply need their proper time. You don't need fewer dreams, you need better priorities because life isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right thing at the right time. Maybe you're not behind in life, maybe you're not confused. Maybe you're simply trying to build too many futures at the same time. And that's exhausting because every new dream asks something from you: your attention, your energy, your time. And the truth is, none of those things are unlimited. Sometimes we become so afraid of missing an opportunity that we end up missing all of them. That sentence stayed with me for a long time because I realized I wasn't losing my future by choosing one direction. I was losing it by refusing to choose. Today, I still have many interests, probably more than ever. There are still skills I want to learn, books I want to read, places I want to visit, businesses I want to build, sports I want to try, languages I want to speak. But now I don't feel pressure to do all of them at once because I've learned something that changed the way I live. Life is not a race to see how many things you can start. It's a journey to discover what you're willing to stay committed to. If you stay with one meaningful goal long enough, you will eventually build something that gives you the freedom to explore everything else. Ironically, the fastest way to achieve many dreams is to stop chasing all of them at the same time. If you forget everything else from this video, I hope you remember this. Everything you want might still be possible, just not all right now. And one last thought. Years from now, people won't remember everything you're interested in. They will remember what you actually became. So choose carefully, not because you only get one chance, but because your attention is building your future every single day. Thank you so much for spending these minutes with me. If you enjoy conversations like this about growth, discipline, and building a meaningful life, I'd love to have you here. So, subscribe to the channel and let's continue growing together. I'll see you in the next video.